that we have customized. So this is the curriculum that we have customized for this RPL 2021 on the AWS side. So we started this yesterday, 24th November. So this is done. Today, the first module is going to be around the introduction to cloud and AWS, right? So that's where you will kind of understand, the characteristics of the AWS cloud platform, and also you'll be able to do a bit of a lab exercises around EC2. EC2 is one of the fundamental backbone services in AWS. Okay. So today we'll look into introduction to cloud, AWS cloud platform, right? In terms of what are the various different services that AWS offers, and what are the different use cases that AWS fulfills, and how customers are actually using AWS across the world, right? How consumers are using. We'll see some of those interesting things today on the AWS cloud platform. And tomorrow, what we will do is we'll set up our accounts, our individual account. I'll explain how to set up your account using your credit card or debit card, and which we will use the free tier, right? So what AWS gives is AWS gives a free tier for 1 year for a limited quantity of consumption that you can make use to do your lab exercises and use it for learning purposes. We'll do that. And then introduction to EC2. So that's pretty much a module 1. Module 2 will speak about some of the security and networking foundational components such as VPCs, route tables, subnets, security groups, and so on and so forth. These are all, while these are very important from a knowledge perspective, but at the same time, AWS has abstracted a lot of these. So don't think that this is going into a heavy networking and related topics. This is going to be quite straightforward to understand, but it is important that you absorb these concepts well. Module 3 is going to be on storage, where we will use EBS. EBS is one of the major storage services that AWS offers. It's called Elastic Block Store. That's going to be around that, and IAM. IAM is for security, identity and access management, for authentication. So that module 4 is going to be around S3. S3 is another important storage that AWS offers, cloud storage that AWS offers. We're going to learn about S3, CloudFront. CloudFront is a CDN. Don't worry about some of these terminologies as we go along. I'll make you familiar with some of these terminologies. Then databases on AWS. The module 5 is going to be an interesting module where we will use a lot of hands-on to build and deploy a complete end-to-end application on AWS using all these services, EC2, EBS, S3 and all. Use load balancer. That's going to be this. And also we'll quickly cover the Python SDK for AWS. Okay, it's called Boto3 SDK, which can be used for automation, management, and governance, and CLI. And module 6 is going to be, and in the module 5, we're going to do a lab, right? So this lab is going to be very important. We will do a lab session on how to build a fault-tolerant WordPress website and how to deploy it and how to. So you will get a complete understanding of the end-to-end stack on AWS. So that's going to be one important lab that we will do. Right? This will be a project, basically. So then module 6 is going to be building serverless applications on AWS. Again, serverless is a concept that I'll explain you. But for those of you who are aware of serverless, it's basically the next gen model of building applications. Okay, using function as a service, right? Using just components, where you don't have to worry about anything. You just need to build your code and write your code. So that's the agenda for module 6. Again, we will, at the end of it, we will do a lab, and we will do an assignment on a project on building a complete serverless web page with AWS Lambda, API Gateway, and DynamoDB. and Cognito as well. That's so. So there are two key projects that we will do at the end of this, right? So one is this at the end of module 5, and one at the end of module 6. So these are the projects that we are going to do. Okay, and so far it's going to span till somewhere end of December. Okay, so that's the curriculum. We'll share this curriculum with everybody and post it in Google Drive so that you can access it. So for today, let's jump into today's topic of introduction to AWS. Right, I briefly touched upon the AWS services yesterday, but today we'll go a little more dive deep on that, and we'll understand, what are the different services that AWS offers and how AWS actually helps enterprises, customers to simplify the overall cloud adoption for them. And in the meantime, did you all watch the video yesterday that I had recommended you to? Data centers, how data centers look like, how Amazon builds data centers. Those of you who have watched, just raise your hands, please. Eleven. Okay. Okay. All right. About 12 people who have watched it. I hope others would have also watched, but probably you're not raising your hands. But I'll assume that. If not, please take some time out to watch those videos that I gave yesterday. So let me just share my screen. Give me a minute and we'll get started on today's topic. Okay, let me just share my screen. Share the sound. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm an aws.amazon.com. Okay, this is the console. So just a brief introduction about we call this as a console. Okay, AWS console. So now what we have here is we have public documentation around AWS products, right? Such as analytics, database, compute, storage, and all. So then there are some specific solutions by use cases, right, or by industry. Like when you take advertising, marketing, automotive, consumer packaged goods, education, energy, financial services, government, manufacturing, right? So there are some industry specific use cases that are there, and you'll find some material around, say for example, on manufacturing. You click on manufacturing, you will see some material around how AWS has been helping manufacturing customers with the suite of products and services to help with their business outcomes, right? So that's where if you see how product and production design is done, right, on AWS using high performance computing, smart factories, right? I mean, these days, if you see, everything is becoming smart, correct? So even manufacturing uh, has become much smarter, right, in order to keep the cost at a very low, so that the cost benefit can be can be passed on to the customers, and also to keep their overall efficiencies at a high level. So from that perspective, how AWS helps customers in making it, efficient, right? So you'll see a lot of interesting use cases around that. Okay, you can just read through this. There's some video that you will have. You can just play this video. Let me just play this video.
Manufacturers are constantly challenged by customer requirements for more personalized products and shorter life cycles, and by the ever-present pressure to improve operational efficiency and reduce costs. Industry 4.0 addresses these challenges, but the digital transformation to an intelligent, connected plant or product requires connecting a wide variety of equipment, devices, and systems, and processing, analyzing, and sharing data throughout the organization to drive business value. Amazon Web Services can help by providing a secure, scalable, and flexible cloud with the largest suite of services and on-demand capabilities and unmatched security to protect your intellectual property. Our relentless pace of innovation will keep you at the forefront of technology, while our microservices-based serverless computing architecture and pay-as-you-go pricing will help lower your IT and operational costs. With our strong partner ecosystem of leading independent software vendors, AWS helps enable your digital transformation at every phase of the value chain. In the initial product and production design phases, AWS allows you to solve complex design and engineering simulations in the cloud, scaling to much larger numbers of parallel tasks, and accelerating your pace of innovation and time to results. Next, whether connecting factory equipment on the plant floor or deploying connected products in the field, AWS's IoT provides low-cost, secure cloud connectivity, data ingestion, device management, and analytics to any connected device. And AWS's edge computing brings local processing, including machine learning inferencing, to the plant floor, providing devices the ability to gather data, take intelligent actions, and securely communicate with each other, even when there is no internet connectivity, and allowing manufacturers to efficiently run manufacturing execution systems in the cloud. AWS data lakes allow you to seamlessly bring together any type of data, from internal and external applications, then use AWS analytics and machine learning tools to perform advanced real-time analytics and build predictive applications without complex, expensive infrastructure. Use these insights to create a single operations view dashboard across different businesses to visualize data in real time and immediately take the appropriate action to resolve issues, minimizing disruption. With AWS, you can create smart, connected products and services and drive operational efficiencies throughout your business. From smart factories that provide plant operators with insights to improve process orchestration, identify out-of-tolerance conditions, and gain visibility into manufacturing performance to continually improve plant operations and product quality, to smart products that use data collected from the field, combined with production and service history, environmental factors, and other metrics for predictive maintenance and quality to ensure service-level agreement delivery, to modernizing your supply chain, allowing rapid response to changing demand by providing real-time and predictive insights that help manage your suppliers, logistics, transportation, and warehousing. No matter what your application, AWS provides the tools, support, security, and partner relationships that empower your digital transformation. Set up an AWS account to get started.
Okay, so exciting, right? I mean, you will get a complete sense of how AWS is helping the manufacturing industry, right, with its technology, right, and how customers are innovating on the AWS platform, right? You will come across a lot of these interesting use cases and videos, right? So that's on the solutions by industry or even by organization type. For example, startup companies. There's so many startup companies who are on AWS, where they start building on AWS and they grow to a hyper scale on AWS, right? I mean, you name one of the largest startups, right, in India, right, you will see that, they will have presence on AWS. Similarly, public sector, right? Public sector for education, right? It is one of the key use cases that AWS is driving today. Okay, so how we can change the way people learn, right, and how it can help empower the public sector. So you will find that here, and if you go to the products, as I said yesterday, you will see different types of services. Like, for example, if I say analytics, in analytics you have got all these services. Athena, right? Athena has a query data in S3, right? If you have data in S3, you can query that using a SQL interface. So then you have cloud search, right? Then you have EMR. EMR is Elastic MapReduce, right? So you can run a hosted Hadoop, completely managed Hadoop service on AWS, right? Kinesis is for real-time video and data streams, right? You can send streaming data over the internet using Kinesis. Redshift is a full, data warehouse, cost-effective data warehouse, right? Enterprise scale, petabyte scale data warehouse. QuickSight is for building dashboards, and so on and so forth, right? So that's on analytics. Then you take application integrations. These are all the services that it has. Step functions is a workflow. You can build workflows using step functions, right? Event bridges to connect events and bring multiple events onto a common platform and used mainly for serverless SaaS applications and so on and so forth. SNS is a notification service, right? You can send email notifications, you can send SMS notifications, right? And SQS is a queue, right? And then blockchain, right? Again, blockchain is very famous today in the manufacturing, insurance, right? I mean, in financial services, they use blockchain a lot to ensure that the distributed ledgers are well maintained. Similarly, you have compute, right? Compute EC2, as I said, is one of the major service where EC2 provides virtual machine on the cloud on AWS, virtual machine as a service. Elastic Beanstalk is a PaaS, platform as a service. EC2 is an IaaS. Beanstalk is a platform as a service. Lambda again is a serverless, function as a service. You just need to write functions, nothing else. Everything else is taken care of. You don't need to worry about the infrastructure, operating system, patching, runtime, nothing. Right? Everything is taken care of AWS. So then containers, right? The container again is one of the booming technologies these days. AWS has got a complete suite of container services. ECR, and Elastic Container Registry, is a service which offers the ability to store those containers, Docker containers. All of you would have heard about Docker, right? If not, please learn what Docker is. Just go to Google and say Docker, right? So just go to docker.com. Yeah, so just learn here. You can watch some interesting basic videos about what Docker does. Right? It's very important. So containers, it gives Dockers, and ECS is a container orchestration service on AWS. EKS is Kubernetes, right? Again, Kubernetes is a Google's open source platform, which is widely used by a lot of enterprises, businesses looking to use containerized, build their applications as containerized in a containerized fashion and deploy it on platforms like AWS or even other cloud platforms. So AWS offers a very trusted and resilient way of building your Kubernetes clusters. Yeah, and similarly, there are some other tools like App to Container. What it does is it takes an existing application, it converts it into a container form and then deploys it on AWS. Database is very important. I'm sure all of you would have learned databases in your curriculums in your college, right, as part of your academic curriculum. So AWS offers a complete suite of databases ranging from traditional RDBMS database such as MS SQL, Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and so on and so forth, to more custom purpose-built databases, such as you use a specific type of database to use to handle a specific use case, right? NoSQL, document databases, right, and so on and so forth, right? So you will find graph databases, GraphQL databases, right? So that's what you will see here. AWS offers a lot of services on databases, and it's one of the most successful offerings that AWS has got, right? Or rather, I would say most heavily used offerings apart from compute. So then you have developer tools, right, such as Cloud9, right? Cloud9 is a complete browser-based IDE, right? I'm not sure how many of you know the term IDE. IDE is an integrated development environment, like the one that you use for Eclipse, Anaconda for Python, right? And so those are called IDE, Visual Studio for building Microsoft .NET applications. So Cloud9 is a complete full-fledged browser-based IDE that AWS offers. Okay, that's on this. Then end user computing. You can build desktops on AWS using workspaces. Mobile, right? AWS Amplify, Pinpoint, all of these services, allows you to build mobile applications on AWS, right? And you can build mobile applications and offer it to end users. And then you have game tech. You can build games, right? These days, I mean, one of the most booming ways to generate revenue by media companies is to build games, right? I mean, you see a lot of media companies, a lot of gaming companies, build online games, right? So now no more, people no more use the offline games, right? So now everything is online, and there's some sort of a gamified experience that they provide, right? So there are services to build games. Internet of Things, again, manufacturing, we just spoke about, we just saw a video, right? Where there are smart sensors attached to your manufacturing equipments to check the health of those equipments, correct? So now pretty much you take any equipment that industries uses today, right? So they come with a smart chip inside it, which can sense the health of that particular component, and then it can send that data to an IoT platform like this. And IoT platform can capture the data, perform analytics on it, right? And it can also use those events to trigger any events in response to certain anomalies that may be occurring, right? I mean, imagine, right? Even today, like, let me take the example of very common example of cars, right? So today, pretty much, any car that you get, maybe in the mid segment, also comes with a connected device, right? So the connected device gives you the ability to monitor the status of the car, and also you can perform some remote actions, on your car through your mobile app, right? As long as you are connected, such as you can start your car from remote, right? I mean, you're probably you have put your car in the parking, and you have to start in the next 15 minutes or so. You can start the car sitting at your office desk and turn on the AC and keep it cool, right? So these are some of the examples. And connected car, I mean, in fact, you can just visit any of the car, the latest cars offered by Hyundai or Maruti or Kia, and all of them have got connected cars. So now all of that is related to this Internet of Things, right? So there will be a chip inside the car which would gather, and not just one chip. There will be multiple sensors and chips which will gather the data, and the car will always be connected to the internet. It will send data and which you can consume, right? And also, if there is a fault in the car based on certain parameters, it can automatically notify the dealer or the service provider, who can service vendor who can request for a checkup of your car and fix it proactively. So that's how. And similarly, the same thing applies even on industries, right? The manufacturing industries where you have thousands of equipments that they will have. So now, even if critical equipment goes down, it will impact the productivity, right, of the assembly line or the production line, right? So from that perspective, these sensors can gather vital stats about that particular component. You can send it to IoT. IoT can analyze it. It can run some machine learning models on top of it to predict the health of that particular component. And based on that, it can suggest preventive maintenance on that particular component, which can, continue to have a seamless production line. So that's how Internet of Things is very, very important these days. Machine learning, again, AI, ML, AWS has got a bunch of AI, ML, a lot of AI, ML services. SageMaker is a complete machine learning service that can allow anybody to build, train, and deploy machine learning models at scale. Then you have augmented AI, right? Which can easily implement a human review of ML predictions, right? And then you have Code Guru, right? You have forecast. Using forecast, you'll be able to take a data set, feed it into the forecast, apply an ML model, and easily get a forecast out of it. Like you have weather forecast, right? How weather forecast happens using a corpus of data set that is available, right? Over the last 50 years, 100 years, 150 years. So then you have Lex. Lex will allow you to build voice and text chatbots. How many of you know what chatbot is? You would have interacted with a chatbot many times, right? If you go to a website, insurance website, you want to buy an insurance policy, usually the insurance company will have a chatbot. You can just chat with it. It can pull data on your behalf, and then it can suggest you, what is the the right insurance policy for you, right? These were done by human agents once upon a time. Even today people do it, but very limited. People are looking at more digital ways of getting these recommendations, right? So now you just go interact with the chatbot. It's a interface, right? It's a digital interface, chat interface, or a interaction interface. You can build those chatbots using Amazon Lex. Then you have recognition. Recognition is also very important. It can analyze images and video, right? You say, for example, you're going to build a video streaming platform, and something like a YouTube, right? You want to basically allow users to upload their videos and have some advertisements and things like that. So now you want to ensure that the images and the videos that are uploaded are of appropriate content, right? They don't have any inappropriate content as per your policies. So you can use recognition to analyze those videos, and if it finds any inappropriate content, it will flag it for review or it will reject it, right? You can build a workflow, something like that. Extract is a OCR service that AWS has, right? So where you can use Textract to take a scanned document and extract the text out of it and use it, convert it into a digital soft copy, and use it for multiple things, right? Not only that, like for example, you have, in fact, I'll narrate one small anecdote. So it's basically a law firm in Australia. Some few years back, they wanted to improve their efficiencies and look at newer ways of servicing their customers, right? It's a law firm. You know what a law firm is, right? They provide legal advice, they provide legal support to their clients, and usually a law firm will have multiple different streams inside it, and they'll have typically lawyers, right, who have graduation at law, and they're practicing law, right? So now this law firm, they wanted to accelerate the pace at which they're able to service their customers, right? So that's where they thought, okay, why don't we now? I mean, usually what lawyers do is when you say, for example, you want to buy a house or you want to buy a piece of land, and you get a copy of the documents from the current owner. You take a legal opinion from some lawyer, you give it to that lawyer, and you ask the lawyer to go through it and then flag if there are any legal complications in the property, right? What the lawyer would do is he would take about 2-3 days time or up to a week to review the document or look at some other historical details in the document, and he'll come back with his opinion on the property, correct? So now they wanted to take similar use cases, but instead of lawyers spending their time reviewing it, right? So because where lawyers are required is to make decisions, right? Make decisions and to basically look at those aspects which would require more heuristics, right? Because these are just semantics, right? If you want to just review the document and see, if everything is in place, you don't need a human to do that, right? I mean, for do the semantic analysis, so it can just be done by a machine, right? So that's where they used extract to as part of their solution to take the document, run the OCR on top of it, extract keywords out of it, and run a comprehensive machine learning algorithm on top of it to analyze the the various legal clauses that are mentioned there using a corpus, right? Because every machine learning or AI would need some sort of a training data set and corpus, right? And obviously, since our law is our law is dictated by a set of rules and set of laws, obviously it's all documented. So now that corpus is available. Probably what is required is in order to take a decision, you need to train the model well, right? So now once you train the model, then this document can just be processed through this workflow. The workflow can read the document like how a human would do, and it can basically flag certain aspects of the document based on the training that it has, because that's how even human would do, right? I mean, we're not experts on day one, right? So we practice something and then we get to get the level of expertise over a period of time, right? So the same thing happens here as well. So it basically reads through the document, it flags certain pieces of it based on its intelligence, and then it gives the output to the lawyers. And lawyers' job is very simple, right? They just need to look at the flagged entries in the document to give their opinion on it, right? And subsequently, they can help the customers to turn around this very fast, right? It need not be weeks; it can be just probably a few hours. Right? So, I mean, that's how enterprises or customers are really looking at leveraging some of these services. Right? So it's kind of otherwise the lawyers were actually wasting their talent and time and simply going through these documents, proofreading these documents, right? Which is now they can use their time in a much more valuable fashion. So so these are all the various different AI ML services. Again, deep lens, deep razor. I'm not sure how many of you have seen the deep razor. Deep razor is it's a car that is built by AWS. It's a miniature car, 1/18th scale of a race car, which is completely self-driven, right? I mean, all of you know, I've heard about the self-driven cars and self-driven vehicles, trucks, and so on and so forth, right? So now Deep Racer is again a self-driven car, which is powered by AWS machine learning suite of services. And it has machine learning models that can drive the car on a specific track, and it can automatically learn, and it can sense the track where it has to turn, right, and where it has to slow down and all of that. Anyways, I mean, every year around this time, there's a grand gala event called reInvent that happens. In fact, that's the first that you see here, right? It's starting on November 29th to December 3rd. It happens in Las Vegas every year. Of course, last year, I mean, it couldn't be conducted physically because of the COVID pandemic. Year before last, it happened in Las Vegas. And in fact, I had visited that, and It's one of the largest tech events in the world, right? Um, the entire Las Vegas, street is full of AWS events. So this is happening now. Probably you can register to that, but it's usually done by invitation, and there's a paid subscription to this. But you will see a lot of free content available on, say, keynotes. Some of the sessions that will be streamed on YouTube. So I would recommend you to just look at it and see what the agenda is. It's a great forum to learn a lot of AWS services. And during this reinvent period, AWS actually announces a bunch of new launches. Okay, new product launches, new feature launches, and new service launches. So it's something worth to follow and watch, right? So for people who are really interested in AWS, they keep a close tab on this always. Then you have machine learning, then management and governance. It's where you have a lot of management and governance, such as to automate AWS and things like that, cloud formation. You can use scripts to automate a lot of activities. Media services, again, media services is very important. So where there are a bunch of media services that is offered to, which is used by the media companies, right? You have, these days, online OTT platforms, right? Amazon Prime is a OTT platform, right? Where you have a lot of content, media content in the Amazon Prime, movies, serials, web series, and so on and so forth, right? So now, media services, what it offers is it offers you a suite of services with which you'll be able to convert the format of videos from one format to the other format, and you will be able to stream those media live. And elemental media live is to basically convert live video content, right? And media store is to store and simplify the overall HTTP origin of videos. So now this provides you a lot of services. And studio, it provides you a studio to edit videos, transport the videos, and process the video streams, right, for live content and things like that. So then migration and transfer, this is a set of migration services that AWS offers. Networking, content delivery, a whole lot of networking components in AWS, such as VPC, CloudFront. It's a global content delivery network. Route 53 is a DNS service that AWS offers. Right? Direct Connect is a direct connectivity between your on-premises and AWS. VPN, it provides you VPN services. It provides you load balancing services. Quantum technologies, right? Now, quantum technologies is getting popular day by day. So AWS has got a couple of services on that coverage. Robotics, right? You can use AWS RoboMaker to build robotic applications. RPA, right? RPA is one stream, which is gaining a lot of popularity with organizations where, usually they have a lot of people, doing a lot of back office job, correct? And these are repeatable, structured kind of a job, which involves a procedure. So you just read the procedure, follow the steps in the procedure, correct? So now you can actually build RoboMaker. You can use RoboMaker to build applications, RPA applications, which can help, these back office agents to automate a lot of these activities, so that manual human labor would reduce. And eventually, the manual human labor can be used for more higher value jobs rather than just doing this mundane jobs. Satellite, I think I spoke about this yesterday, right? Satellite is a ground station which will allow you to build a complete ground station as a service. Security, lot of security. In fact, at AWS, we believe in security is the job zero, right? I mean, that is our first and foremost job. Whatever we do, whatever we build, whatever we advise to customers, we ensure that it is highly secure and it meets the utmost security standards. Right. So from that perspective, at AWS, as you will learn this, you will see a lot of focus is given on security, right? Every small thing is secure, and also AWS gives a lot of prescriptive recommendations to make your design secure and robust, right? On that, there are a bunch of security components that AWS offers, right? Right from single sign-on to web application firewall to guard duty to inspector. IAM is a core of all of that. Serverless. Again, serverless is to build applications without worrying about your infrastructure, right? In fact, there's a special module on serverless. But just to give a brief intro about serverless, it's a style of building applications, building systems where you really don't worry about the underlying infrastructure, the patching, the operating system, nothing, right? You just simply go write your code, deploy your code, rest everything is taken care by AWS, right? So that's when you have Lambda, API Gateway, DynamoDB, Event Bridges, QoS, SNS, S3, AppSync, Fargate, step functions. Storage is very important. There are multiple cloud storage that AWS offers, such as EBS, S3. S3 is like your Google Drive, right? Where you can just store anything like Dropbox, Google Drive. But it's much more robust in terms of the different use cases that S3 offers, right? In fact, people are using S3 to build data lakes. Okay. EFS is a NFS on AWS. FSX is a Windows file system on AWS. Glacier is for archival, right? You can archive the data into Glacier for a very, very cheap price, right? So you don't have to worry about that. I mean, you have tons and tons of data, petabytes
Sir,
of
your
data.
voice is breaking, sir.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Okay.
It
right.
might be your line, but now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure. Thanks. So Glacier is a archival service which can offer very cheap storage for archiving your petabytes of data, right? Like, for example, you take the financial services industry, they have a compliance regulation to, archive data for the last, 20 years, 30 years, right? So all of that can be stored in Glacier. And similarly, you have got Snowball, right? Snow Family. Again, Snow Family is a service, where you want to migrate data or you want to store the data in AWS, but you've got huge data at your on-premise, like petabyte scale of data at on-premise, and terabytes to petabytes. So AWS has got devices. I will show, there's a short video about it. The AWS has got some device. Using the device, they ship that device to your data center. You plug it into your data center. You dump all the data into the device, and it will be pre-configured. And you ship it back to AWS. AWS will dump all of the data into an S3 bucket, a specific S3 location that you specify. Okay, that is the Snowball that's used for, transferring terabytes of data to AWS, and you can ship that device, right? You don't have to worry about it. But there's also something called Snowmobile. Snowmobile is like for customers who are having a huge data in on-premise, petabytes of data in on-premise. AWS actually ships a truck. You won't imagine, they ship a truck to the data center. The truck will be parked outside the data center. There's a cable that will run, which will connect to the data center, and it will dump all the data into the truck, into the storage devices which is there inside the truck. The truck will come back to AWS data center region, and then it will transfer all of that data. It will offload all of the data into AWS, right? That's in fact, I'll show a short video about it. VR, AR, again, to build augmented reality, virtual reality applications, you can use Sumerian. So these are all the services that AWS offers, but let's just quickly discuss a few things. AWS Snowmobile. Yeah. So this was during a reinvent 2016. So that's when Snowmobile was launched, where this is around the same time, right? I mean, the event is going to happen, that start next week. But let's just quickly watch this video.
A number of our customers said, well, this is great if I have hundreds of petabytes or...
Just a second. Put this in full screen.
A number of our customers said, well, this is great if I have hundreds...
So he's Andy Jassy, who was the CEO of AWS, right? He's a veteran Amazonian. So now he's the CEO of Amazon, right? After Jeff Bezos stepped out, now Andy Jassy has taken over as the CEO of the entire Amazon group.
Hundreds of petabytes or dozens of petabytes. What about if I have exabytes of data? We have a lot of customers who have exabytes of data. When we started AWS, the notion of an exabyte of data just seemed completely out there. Like an exabyte of data, it's so big. Today, an exabyte of data is a lot more commonplace. You'd be surprised how many companies, large enterprises and successful startups, given the way they collect data,
so
have
exabyte
exabytes of data.
How much is exabyte, right? You start with GB, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, and then exabytes, right? So petabyte itself is a huge scale. And that's what he's saying. Exabyte scale data is very common these days with a lot of companies. You know, you won't imagine, right? I mean, people have exabyte of data scale at their on-premise data centers.
Well, I love Snowball edges, but if I have an exabyte of data, I'm going to need like 10,000 of those Snowball edges. And that's probably too many for us to want to manage. So is there something you can do that allow us to move exabytes of data so we can leverage the cloud as well? So we thought about that, though, and that was a tricky one. And the first thing that came to mind was we're going to need a bigger box. Introducing AWS Snowmobile. So Snowmobile is a 100 petabyte container. It comes affixed to a 45-foot long container and truck. The way it works, we'll drive the truck up to your data center. We'll take the snowmobile, affixed to the trailer. We have power and network fiber that will connect to your data center. You fill her up, and then the truck will come back, put the trailer back on the truck, and we'll move it back to AWS. If you think about the idea of moving an exabyte of data from on-premises anywhere, but especially the cloud, if you basically assign a 10 gigabit per second line to it, which is pretty reasonable, it would take you about 26 years to move an exabyte of data from on-premises to the cloud. Using 10 snowmobiles, it would take you a little less than 6 months. Believe how many companies now have exabytes of data that they want to move to the cloud because they want to take advantage of the storage services that we have. And they want.
Yeah, so if you see this, with a 10 Gbps dedicated connection between your on-premise and AWS, to move 1 exabyte of data, right? It would take about 26 years. Okay, that's what Andy is saying, that 10 Gbps is a very decent, reasonable connection that enterprises have today. But with Snowmobile, it's like probably less than 6 months, right? You just need to take the Snowmobile device, park it outside your data center, start dumping your data and take it back and push it to AWS, right?
They want to take advantage of the database services that we have, and they want to take advantage of the huge number of analytics services we have, and the AI services we have. But moving exabytes of data before was completely unreasonable and impossible. 26 years, less than 6 months with Snowmobile.
Yeah, so impressive, isn't it? I mean, so this is the kind of innovation that happens in AWS and Amazon, right? So where look at the business value proposition, right? I mean, 26 years to 6 months, right? To move such a huge volume of data, and imagine data is the next oil, right? I mean, that's how the world is going towards. So from that perspective, to process this data and use this data, right? AWS gives you this opportunity to kind of move this data to cloud and process it there. Okay, that's one. The second thing I wanted to show was Amazon Fulfillment Center automation. Yeah. Let's quickly take a look at this. Yeah. So if you look at Amazon.com, right? I mean, Amazon.com, all of us know that offers e-commerce services, correct? All of us would have at least ordered one product through Amazon.com, right? So now, have you ever imagined, how actually Amazon, achieves that scale and speed, right? Because there are millions of orders that are being processed on a daily basis, right? So for those millions of orders, imagine, if Amazon has to employ so many people, forget about employment, right? It's about, the pace at which people have to work, right? And obviously, the efficiency is very, very important in terms of, fulfilling the orders, right? Now, how they work actually, right? You see this? This is a typical Amazon's warehouse or a fulfillment center, right? And so you see those aisles where there's so many robots picking up the full shelf and moving it from across, correct? So all that is automated, right? So the moment you place an order from your app, so the fulfillment of that order begins in the fulfillment center, where the order is sent to a specific fulfillment center automatically, and a robot from that fulfillment center picks up that from the specific ale, and then it puts it in a track or a conveyor belt, and then it sends it to the shipment station, right? I mean, this is the shipment station where they pack the packages, your products, and then they ship it out. Yeah, so you see this, these are all the products that are picked up by the robots based on your order, right? I mean, there's no human actually goes to the tail or rack to pick up your product, right? These are all done by robots automatically. And pretty much if you see this entire pipeline of or the entire workflow, Amazon uses a lot of services, AWS services around this in order to connect this entire fulfillment workflow together. Yeah, that's it. So your packages are packed and it is shipped out, right? So that's how Amazon uses the power of technology to fulfill its own business, right? And along this line, there are so many AWS services that Amazon uses to achieve this end to end, right? So these are some of the interesting ways in which AWS actually helps businesses, right? And so you can watch some of these videos like this. It will be quite interesting. But what I suggest and recommend is today, if you could just go through at a high level. I'm not sure if you're able to complete it yesterday, but for those who have started it yesterday, please continue to read through some of these services, right? It need not be quite in depth. For example, if you take storage, right? If you go to the storage, just click on storage, and then you can go to S3, EBS. Just read only the first page of it, right? You see this first infographics, which gives you a very high-level view of what S3 is all about, right? How it works. Very layman terminology, right? Of how it works and how data is stored. What are the use cases that S3 offers? Right? Who are the customers who are using it, right? So now, to the extent possible, I will request you to go through these, right? To the extent possible. That's okay. Don't worry about even if you don't understand a certain specific technology. Doesn't matter, right? As long as you are able to correlate this and you're able to speak about this sometime down the line, that's a quick win for you, right? So don't worry about it. At least get started with this and also start looking into the solutions that I was talking about by industry. You can go to each one of these, right? And the education, just click on education and watch this video, right? And you will see, you'll be able to appreciate how AWS services are being used at various different industries, right? At various different industry verticals, and you'll be able to appreciate the fact that the use cases that AWS is helping customers with, right, is something which is actually putting it in the number one spot, right? So that's what is the step difference that AWS brings it to the industry, right, with respect to as compared to the other cloud providers. Okay. So let me just take a pause here for today. And the assignment for today is to just continue reading on these to the extent possible. You don't have to go through the whole thing. That's okay, absolutely fine. But at least to the extent possible, go through this and then go to the solutions and look at the industry and watch the videos on at least all these industries. At least watch those. It's a small 2-3 minute video, right? It's not much, right? You can just open each one of those and watch this video, right? That's about, you'll have to invest about 1 hour of time today. Okay. And what we can do tomorrow is let's start with setting up your account, AWS account, and provision your account. So please be ready with one of your either of your debit cards or credit cards and a valid email ID. We would need that to set up your AWS account, the first AWS account, right? And I'll demonstrate how it has to be provisioned and how you can start using it. But until then, please wait. Don't provision it by yourself, right? I will show you. I'll demonstrate to you, and then you can provision your account. And also at the end of it, I want you to set up some alarms and triggers so that if you exceed the free tier by mistake, you'll get some alarms and alerts, right? So that's the thing that I want to achieve tomorrow. Okay, and then from yeah.
Sir, accepted any debit card, sir? RuPay, Visa, Master?
No, so there is a. So if you actually go here, there is a list of debit cards and credit card providers that it accepts. You can just check here. You can just go to the console and read about it. Yeah, you can just Google for it. The accepted payment methods for AWS. Okay, and you can just go with that. I think it doesn't accept RuPay, I believe. It accepts Master, Visa, American Express. So those are the cards that it accepts. But anyways, I'm not sure. This was last year, but now probably this has changed.
RuPay not accepted. So.
Not accepted, right? Yeah, right. Okay, all right. I have a hard stop now, but I'll see you all tomorrow, right? But in the meantime, please do this assignment that I've given you today. Watch it and come back tomorrow with one of the accepted payment methods for AWS, and we'll set up the AWS console account, and then we'll go forward from there. Okay. All right. Krishna, I just have to drop off now.
Anna, sure, Anna. Thank you so much, Anna. Please go ahead, and I'll continue with their question.
Okay, sure.